What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? I'm filling in. I decided that we're not going to do action hour tonight. We're going to do it tomorrow. You guys will get a special show with Brady and I, but I'm gonna fill in here for a bit for Scotty, and he scheduled this Thursday show. No Del Mar racing. How you doing, Mike and Steve? Everybody else, what's going on? Everybody having a good week? How's the meet been going for everybody at Del Mar? Tough racing, right? I mean, although Scotty has just been, he's been on fire. I heard with giving out some prices. What was it? So I think it was what is today? Today's the 22nd. So was it what, Sunday? There was like, hey, Sean, Mike, how's it going? Yeah, was it Sunday? I played a couple of these, but last week, what was the 18th? It's the 18th Sunday? Yeah, the 18th was Sunday. Was this the $63 winner, or was that Saturday? There was a couple. Tiz Magician kind of romped, right? And then there was a $63 winner, though, I know. Hey, Keith, how you guys doing? Well, it wasn't race 7. Race 6, maybe? 5? No, race 4. Yeah, cute impact. Look at that, Scotty long shot. I ended up, like, I think I had a $30 win bet, EquinEdge morning line was 12-1 versus an 8-1 morning line, but first time starter, right? Scotty long shot. I mean, and she as a 2-year-old, I mean, Jessica rode this just great ride. I mean, sat off the speed and just ran around and paid $63. And then right on Saturday, I think it was the last race, right? He told me he gave this out too. I didn't see either show, but I ended up betting him. Yeah, that's what I heard, Keith. Like, I ended up not watching the show. And then Jimmy Blue Jeans, I think gave this word out as well on Saturday. Like, Scotty Longshot again. The morning line here was crazy, right? Look at that. 5-2 EquinEdge morning line versus a 12-1 morning line. And Scotty long shot. Was this top GSR too? No, second GSR. On the turf. I think didn't this horse, I think, went wire to wire. But and paid 12-1, which was just crazy. Yeah, I think this horse wired. It just, and the crazy thing here, look at that. I mean, jumping GSR definitely wants to go a little bit longer. Gets the 8.5 here, which hit right in the eyes and got 12-1. 12-1 on EquinEdge was 5-2. So there's no Del Mar today, but I figured I would cover a little bit of tomorrow. And I'm sure Scotty, I think whether he jumps on and takes over, I'm going to hang with you guys for an hour, though. What's up, Anthony? Good to see you guys. I have some coffee here. I started coffee early, though. Like, I was up for work, just had a work meeting, and Mike called me and was like, hey, you want to jump on and fill in? And I'm like, sure, I'm all for it. We're going to do, Brady and I are going to do action hour tomorrow, kind of special edition during midday of a Friday. He had a commitment tonight, I think a golf commitment. So we're going to end up doing tomorrow. But why don't let's talk some Del Mar for tomorrow. We'll do a little bit of a preview, and you'll get Scotty too to do a preview. Hey, Gilly, how are you? Good to see all of you guys. Like, I love doing a little summertime racing, handicapping. I'll take a little early lunch break. And yeah, action hour tomorrow, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 Eastern. Brady and I we'll talk Saratoga tomorrow. We're going to stick to Del Mar today. So Del Mar card tomorrow. I think they had 8 races, right? Yeah. Let's look at this. So first race, I'll start by when we got a maiden claimer here for a 2-year-old filly. So, 5 horses raced and the 2 horses raced. Scotty win percent likes the 6. Scotty picks doesn't like the 6, so a little bit conflicting algorithms there. Morning line likes the 6 some, likes the 2 obviously. From a GSR perspective, the 4, who's the second pick, which the morning line really likes. I kind of like that angle there. So you have a top GSR, a first-time starter, and in the morning line, quite a bit different. So Trevor McCarthy for Hector Palma. Consistent workouts, right? I always look at this. I like to see workouts every kind of 7 days, very consistent. Had a gate work way back here, a couple more gate works. I always like to see, doesn't look super impressive, but, pretty good. I mean, you have a nice kind of work here and then backed off a little bit. I mean, is 4 furlongs, 5 furlongs. I mean, this horse has been working. Why don't let's do a pick 5. We'll do it for $84. That's a lot of spread coverage there. So let's look at the 2. Maldonado for Luis Mendez. Source is dropping a little bit, but those look like to be weak maiden special races. Should speed here at 5 furlongs, faded. Speed, fractious, kind of faded. I don't love this 2 horse. Let's look at the 5, the Scotty long shot. Should speed. 7 horse field. What's Belterra Park? Interesting. Bob Hess with Rispoli riding. Where's Flavian? Is Flavian riding at Del Mar? Not here. Where's Flavian at Saratoga? Does anybody know? I think we definitely. So system doesn't even have the 4 or 2. I mean, this race is probably fairly wide open. I mean, for 2-year-olds, this is tough. 7, kind of nice work pattern here for DeSormo. I think this 4 is interesting, though. I like the top GSR. Morning line really likes. The 1, 12%. Juan Espinoza. GSR plus this wants to go a bit longer. This is a tough race. Was that Peter Miller? Yeah. I don't necessarily, the 5, I mean, who knows? I mean, it's Scotty Longshot here. So interesting coming from Belterra Park. I wonder is this Bob Hess must have maybe been a private purchase or something. I like the 4 though. I think that, top GSR, McCarthy, second Scotty pick, 16%. The 2's top Scotty pick. I mean, obviously can win. I think you definitely need the 5. 7, 17%. Another first-time starter. Maybe he's just not. Maybe Flavor Flav isn't riding in this first race. And the 6 is 28%. I mean, I think we're going to have to take some coverage here. Able to see it. Cedillo for Peter Miller. I like the works here too. San Luis Rey, looks to be and 28%, which is nice. It is conflicting, but I think I like the 465. I mean, it's hard to. I don't necessarily love the 7 horse. Well, it's not bad. DeSormo kind of combination. I mean, this race looks pretty tough and wide open. So let's lock that in. Go to the next leg here. So claimer for 3-year-olds on the turf was Keith Pratt's at Del Mar, so he's just not riding in that first race. So he's on the 4 here, the top Scotty pick, 27%, 9-5 morning line. What's the GSR? Let's look here. Top GSR. These are a bunch of, I guess this horse has won twice, but so let's look at this 4 horse. So a 50 SOR. This is a big drop here. I mean, he's been racing in, mid to high 50s. What American Pharoah? What do you guys think about this 4 horse? I mean, definitely wants the turf. Doug O'Neill. Pratt's getting aboard. Somebody else, first time too. 2 horses. I like to look at the morning lines on these. Who else anybody else? Don't really like the 8. Morning line is pretty good here. Scotty told me that. He said that people, I think, does John Lease do the morning line? Hey, Mike. Dawn. Who's Dawn? Is Dawn a horse? No. System likes the 2 some. Yeah, I mean, so for sure dropping. I mean, one on the lead here. I mean, was finally got him on the turf, which is probably where he wants to be. Is definitely getting almost won the Singletary though, 58. Was kind of off the speed and leading in the stretch and gave it up. Gives up a lot though. I mean, in these, but again, this is, SOR perspective says this is a lot tougher. The 2 stretching out. Well, I guess has routed and then was sprinting. Speed and I don't like this. I mean, speed and then stopping when routing, and the GSR says this horse doesn't want to go 2 churns. And then, sprinting runs really well here. I don't like, from an SOR perspective, couldn't win here at a 48 or a 52. So why all of a sudden is he going to win today in this claiming race? The 3 just broke his maiden in a claiming race now, comes back here in a 50. I guess that's off the layoff. So the 3's coming off a pretty big layoff. What's the 4? Well, the 4's been running. I like the 4, Mike. Mike, who do you like? I don't really like the 3. The 8. Shown speed, kind of sat off the speed. Been going 2 churns. I mean, the thing here is, there's a note back here. Looks to be dirt, just gelded. 0 for 9, first time turf ready. So, I mean, the thing here is looking at him, like he's been racing in mid 40s and 30, wins a 36 and then wins a 40. And now couldn't really run with in the 50s at Churchill. And now is facing the 50s here. I don't really like the 3. Morning line doesn't, or the 8. Morning line doesn't like the 8. Mike, I'm curious who you like. I like the 4 here so far. Let's look at the 6. So the 6 got off dirt onto turf, ran well in a 44. The 6 is interesting to me here. I mean, I think this horse can improve. This was obviously way too tough going in this allowance race. Gets back to the claiming level, which is probably where he needs to be. The 7, Yeah, let's talk about, let's talk the 7 first, Muay Thai. So first time in the States, Baltus. Yeah, I saw, so I have not been playing a lot, you guys, but I saw Joe Bravo's riding out in Del Mar. He obviously got out of Monmouth with the no whip rule, right? So this, so bit on synthetic, had raced back in turf here, on a good track, wants probably firmer ground, right? And morning line right at 4-1, has been racing in kind of mid to high. I mean, I could see the 7, Mike. I mean, Keith, I think it's hard. Although, I think this is an advantage to having the SOR. You have a lot going on here, though. I think, if you look back at these turf races to start his career, almost won at Ascot in this maiden race, ended up, or a novice stakes, and then a maiden race here, which was a 52 on the rail. There's a little bit of speed here too. So although says the horse led the final furlong, kept on to win here. So 1 out of 46. I mean, I think here, I think this horse has talent. I mean, I guess they get it back to turf and, says, should be able to run on the turf. Run on synthetic going 8 furlongs. I could see the 7. The thing about this, though, I just wonder with the 4 here. I mean, this is a big drop. I mean, he's getting back to where he needs to be. There's some speed, though, here from a pace perspective. So the 2, I don't like the 2. I think the 2's probably going to go and just going to stop. I agree, Mike. I think that the 7 does have a shot. The 4, I mean, Pratt probably going to sit off the speed here. I mean, the 2's going to go. I don't really know what the 3's going to do. The 6 is interesting. I mean, I think the 6 is interesting. What about the Scotty long shot? I mean, I think the Scotty picks have this one. So the 5 is first time turf. Look at that. So he has not raced on turf yet. Juan Hernandez for Craig Lewis as well. And this horse wants the turf and wants to go 2 turns. So this is where, sometimes when you look at the Scotty long shot, right, you don't really know. You're like, I don't know why this horse Scotty long shot. And then that's how they beat you, right? But when I look here, I think the 5 is very interesting. And if you're spreading here, you have to use the 5. The thing about this is, in this horse, you're going to get an absolute price on, right? You're going to get 15 to 20 to 1. I love that you get JJ. Like, I mean, geez, you get JJ, you have Scotty Longshot, first time turf. And, when you look at the GSR numbers, right, wants turf, 8 furlongs, wants to go 2 turns. I mean, 10 furlongs. I mean, great GSR. I mean, this is an absolute price. Like, so look here, ran 2 turns at Santa Anita, just kind of went gate to wire and kind of romped. I mean, nothing against that. Came back and had a nice work here at Del Mar. So I for sure think the 5 as a player. Stumbled here on the dirt going 2 turns. These are sprint races, kind of toss those. Like, this horse is very live. I think the 5 is for sure going to run. And you get JJ up. I mean, who knows, right? I mean, horses never raced on turf, but this is the use of EquinEdge, and you get the GSR. I mean, I love this, and Scotty talks about this. Like, you get an increase here in GSR. The horse wants to go 2 turns. So what I say is just get rid of these sprint races on dirt. Has a couple route races on dirt, stumbled here, dueled and faded. Here just kind of went. So, you know, I guess the 2 is probably the 2 routing has showed some speed, it looks like. So the 2 is going to show some speed. The 5 probably is going to be, I mean, we don't know. I mean, the 5's going to get a good trip, though. I could see the 7, though, Mike. I think the 4. I think this is the Scotty picks, though. You know, and I really like the 5 there. I mean, from a Scotty long shot perspective, but I don't think you can toss. I don't think you can toss the 4. I mean, that's a big drop. You get Pratt. The morning line likes it. Top win percent, top Scotty, top GSR. I mean, yeah, I could see the 7 though. Keith. Yeah, so Keith and the 7 was bet a lot. And, you know, I could definitely see the 7 on there. All right, let's go to the next leg. What time is it? I got a meeting at what time? It's 10. I got a meeting at 11. So you guys will get me until 11 Pacific. So the maiden claimer kind of lightly raced. This race is like, I mean, is this race wide open or what? I mean, 20%, 16%, 14%, 12%, 10, 10, 10, 6, and 2. We might come back to, well, depending on how this kind of sequence unfolds, we'll have to figure out where we're going to find a single. I doubt we're going to find anything here. So let's look at the GSR here. The 9 has not gone. Oh, the 9's first time starter. 7's been on turf twice and now is on dirt. Tiago. McCarthy, Doug O'Neill. I was kind of short by GSR, especially in maiden. Kind of see wide. Yeah, Mike, this race is wide open. I always like to kind of short on GSR. And then I kind of say, okay, Scotty picks are 3, 7, and 6. The 3 is 10%. The 7 is 20%. And the 6 is 12%. So, like, I mean, they're going with the GSRs and the Scotty picks and the win percents. So then what I always like to do is also look at the morning line. So look at this 3 horse, 2-1. We're going to look at the 3 and top Scotty pick from a 5-1 morning line. I've noticed though at Del Mar, like a lot of times where the EquinEdge morning line is higher, these horses are still winning. But let's look at the 3 though. So Ricardo Gonzalez for Kristen Mulhall. So was at Santa Anita and Los Al sprinting. Was in a maiden special and ran well. I mean, we're in 3rd in a 7-horse field. Broke first. This horse breaks. I mean, but then doesn't show massive. 46 though. Good works. Look at that. I mean, races. I mean, this horse is working. I mean, the works look good. You know, gets another drop here. So I mean, the 3 for sure, right? Like, I mean, from a morning line perspective, you have to have the 3. What other races do we have here? An allowance and then a big old claimer. Maybe we can single in this allowance race. Okay. So we need the 3. This 9's a first-time starter, not in Scotty picks, but 16%. McCarthy for Doug O'Neill. I mean, had a nice work here, and then, you know, just kind of consistently working at 5 and 6 furlongs. The 6 is Scotty Longshot. Has been going 2 churns. Sprinted a couple times at Santa Anita. Ran a 3rd. Was off slow here. Bumped. Hit the gate. Off slow. You know, the problem with this is like, This horse just looks kind of like a mess. Yeah, Mike, I could see that it being a tough sequence. You know, I mean, I like to find singles that are not where somebody else is going to single. Not always, but I think, you know, the 6 is Scotty Longshot, but I mean, this horse just looks like a mess. I mean, is either off slow or getting bumped or hitting the gate or be wide. I mean, Alexis is riding. Let's look at the 7. 7, second Scotty. Gets off the turf, on the dirt. Hector Pommel and Tiago. Race 5 furlongs here. Wasn't the favorite, but got bet. I mean, ran well. I mean, the 7 ran well here. Morning line, 4 doesn't love, but 20%. Is that top win? Yeah. Let's look at the 2. Been sprinting as a 2-year-old here at Del Mar. Was off slow. Didn't run. Gets a drop. And where it needed a drop, right? And was wide at Low Sal. Jessica's riding. She ride before. 2 gets Lasix for the first time. Interesting. Do you guys, anybody like that ankle? Lasix are interesting now. We see, you know, obviously with stakes races, they're just graded stakes and the whole Lasix rules, but the 4, Keith, let's look at the 4. So it was at Turf Paradise, had some late run. Yeah, I mean, horse has speed. Here and just kind of stopped. I mean, this is where, you know, kind of cheap speed would be my guess. You know, broke well, was kind of close to the front and just faded. 3-1. Yeah. EquinEdge has it at 9-2. The 5's first time starter. Bob Hess from Maldonado. Really low GSR though, 47. I always check though. Horse probably wants, well, yeah. Definitely wants the dirt. Just not a great bred horse. You guys, this race is like, this is a tough sequence. Somebody said, yeah, Mike, this is tough. Who else have we not looked at? We looked at the 5, the 8. 8's raced a bunch. Just not getting it done. In 38s and 32s. Couldn't run in a 44. Stopped, held second. Cesar Ortega, he's the apprentice, I think. Like, the thing here is, I mean, I guess that horse could win. I mean, it's going to show up. What about the 1? 2%er. Carlos Lopez for Daniel Dunham. I just can't put a case in for the 1 here. So 1, I'm not a fan of. The 8, 6 furlongs. I guess the Roan Ranger. I'm not a fan of the 8. The 5, 10% on this 5 horse. Morning line just doesn't, but nice. I mean, that's a good work there, going 5 furlongs. The thing about this I don't love is, like, what happened between June 17th and July 17th? Like, you're at Santa Anita, and then that's a good work though, but like there's just the works here are like so sporadic. I mean, March and then April, and then another gap of 10 days, and then a 21-day gap, and I just can't support that for me. Like, what's going on? Did we talk about? Oh yeah, so we're for sure using the 3. I like the 3 here because of looks a slight drop in class. This was a tough race here. Was bet and didn't run without watching the race or anything. I think the 3 is definitely a runner. I mean, the 6 just, I mean, it is Scotty Longshot. The horse likely wants 2 churns and is been off slow and back here sprinting. Just, this horse just kind of seems like a head case. The 2. The 2 got the drop and ran in a 42. Wow, this race is, I mean, the 9, first-time starter, 16%. I mean, a first-time starter could for sure win this race. The 9 top GSR too. The 9's for sure interesting. Nice kind of recent kind of gate works. Back to back. Doug O'Neill with McCarthy. So I like the 9 and 3 probably the best. The 7 was on the rail here. Ran 4th in a 6-horse field. You know, it gets off the turf. Do we look at this? Yeah, it definitely wants the dirt. That horse wants to go 2 churns, but not that he couldn't win here. I like the 3 and 9 the best. I could see the 4 though, Keith. I mean, this race is so wide open. I would probably, you know, for a tough race like this, you're going to either have to spread or make a decision. I'm going to say 3-9 and use the GSR a little bit to our advantage here and use the SOR here. And that without kind of knowing what happened here, gets a little bit of a break here from a class perspective versus this field. I think the 3 is really live. What about from... Yeah, and Kristen uses Ricardo probably as her kind of go-to rider. All right, let's move on. We might come back and add somewhere, but... All right, then, you know, so those are 3 tough races. At least here we get an allowance race. So these are a bunch of winners. You know, GSR I still use, but I think use it from the standpoint of like where has he or she been racing, dirt, turf. Is there any angles you can find there? They've been racing a bunch. So like here, you know what the 3 is. 5-time winner though. You know, almost all wins have come 8 furlongs on the dirt. It was where they, you know, in an average of a 60 SOR. So the 3 family biz, second Scotty pick. So the system loves the 7 horse from a morning line perspective. Let's look at the 7. Yeah, Tony, and you get me. I mean, what's happening? Brady and I are gonna do action hour tomorrow at noon, little special edition. So I'm good, Tony. You know, we're gonna talk for another 25 minutes. I just thought I would take a break from work real quick and jump on and hang out with you guys for a few. Talk a little Del Mar tomorrow. Cover this early pick 5. Yeah, I'm on a break from work. Yeah, a little early lunch break. You know, had some coffee. There's no ticket to hit today. This is for tomorrow, but I figured I would stay on the Del Mar train since Scotty's been covering coffee in Del Mar. So Mike or Keith, we talked about being a hard single. What about the 7 here? Espinoza for Baltus, been racing in 70 SORs, routing at Churchill, and look at raced in the Hollywood Derby on turf at Del Mar. Looks like a turf horse, but has raced on dirt well. I mean, look, but definitely has raced a lot better on turf. Wow, yeah, I mean, is it Tyshawn? They should have got him back on the turf. This is a big drop though in class. I mean, look here in I bet, like, why not turf? I just like, why would you not put him back on turf? I mean, look here, ran in a grade 2 on turf and ran second. Showed speed here in a grade 3 going 2 furlongs at Indiana Grand. But then they like, okay, he's a turf horse. System says turf though, right? Yeah, it's bred nicely both ways though. For sure wants to go long, probably on turf as well, right? Yep. I mean, look at that. Why not put Tyshawn on the turf? Going 2 turns. Late pick 5 at Toga. But I got 24 minutes. Yeah, we'll do something. Yeah, Keith, I mean, in top system pick in top 40%. And the morning line loves this horse. And so let's look at the 1. So DeSormo. Look here, you get the opposite. This horse has been running on turf but wants dirt. Look at Santa Anita here. Ran in a 56 starter allowance. Wins. Didn't run here in a 64. And here in a 58 runs and wins. Close to the speed up front. Let's look at the 6. Lightly raced. Azul Coast. Oh, this is Baffert horse. Bob Baffert? I guess he found somewhere to run horses, right, all? California. I mean, one on this horse is bred for this synthetic. Look at that. For sure. Wow. Not to say he can't run on dirt, but I mean, has been facing way too tough. So it gets easier here. Ran well in the sham, so ran in 19, ran in the sham, coming off a big layoff. I'm not a fan. Not in top Scotty, only 12%. Like, I mean, has run well. I mean, both races here on dirt. I mean, romped here. But, like, what happened? I mean, big year layoff. I don't know. I find it hard to bet Bob there. The 7 is definitely interesting. I just wish this horse was on turf. The 2 wants longer for sure. Look, it went turf on 10 furlongs there. This horse burned a lot of money, you guys. Look at that. 4 straight races being the favorite. And now it's going to race in a 62. Gets JJ. Going to be close to the speed. I mean, this horse could win. The thing about the 2 though is going to be is the 2 going to be the favorite? Like I mean, the 2 could win. I would go slim in this race. For me, knowingly, our ticket we have kind of here. Hey, Gary, good to see you. So what do we got? 25 minutes. All right. I don't like the 2. I'm tossing. I'm going slim in this race. Probably gonna the 7. And I do not like the 2. I don't like the Baffert. Let's look at this 3 for a second. Peter Miller, Cedillo, second pick. The 4 is a big price. Racing at Golden Gate, raced at Pleasanton and won in a 54. Couldn't win it on the synthetic. Bred for the, it's bred for the dirt too. Tamayo. I mean, these are the Scotty long shots that can surprise. Like, comes out of Pleasanton. This does not look like an insanely tough allowance race. You know, that is this horse just in, I mean, this horse has just been constantly racing though. Improving though. I mean, look at all these wins. When this horse was just dominating at Golden Gate. In great form. Still in great form. Wins here at Pleasanton. The problem, like, this horse is going to be up front. So can it sit off the speed and relax? Morning Line doesn't love, but the 5, racing at Golden Gate. The horse has never been on the dirt. Never once. Been on turf and synthetic every time. McKenna, Tyler Bays. I mean, the angle here is just the horse says that it could race on dirt. But that's a low GSR. And was racing in the 50s and 60s on turf. I mean, the thing here with the 5 is this horse just going to like trip out and run on the dirt for the first time at race number 21? That's just... No, Eric, tomorrow. I'm just talking tomorrow. I'm going to talk Saratoga here in a minute. Tony's going to get me to cover the weight pick 5. What's I don't love this single, but I think we might need coverage in the last. The 7. This horse could step up here and win. Look at Rand. This is only the 3rd start on dirt, going 2 turns. Definitely has run well on dirt. They ran this horse on turf, and GSR says that. But this 7 for sure could step up, and you're going to get a price. So I'd for sure add the 7 there. I'd probably just play that. Now you got to have the 1. And the 6. We're having to. All right. That's what I'd play tomorrow. I think the 5 in race 2 is interesting, though, too. I really like this as the Scotty long shot here. All right. Tony, you want late Saratoga? This will be good because I'm going to do, today. 1, 2, 3, 4. So race 6. What's the deal with the weather? Give me any. Are we like fast and firm or sloppy? I know the weather's been kind of crazy. These all first-time starters. Oh, a 2-year-old first-time starter race? How about Luis Saez? He's been on fire, I heard, at Saratoga. I like the 6 here with Louis. Good work pattern. Bred for the turf. Top GSR. The 1. Raced on turf in a 44 at Belmont. Looks sunny and fast, so that's good. All right. I mean, 3%er though? For real? What do you guys think in this first race? How about Irad for Rudy Rod on this too? Says horse is bred for the dirt, but they put him on the turf. Top number though. See, I like to look at that. So dirt for sure. Sprinter for sure. Short. Top number on the turf is sprinting on the turf at 5.5. Cantheros, so I guess that makes sense. Irad for Rudy Rod. I mean, yeah. I mean, this horse could run on the turf. For sure need the 2 and 6. Let's look at the 3. Clement Rosario. 5-2 morning line, the favorite. System doesn't love. Jose for Abreu on the 7. These are all a bunch of first-time starters. I think we're just going to have to use the GSR a little bit here. One worked and then ran at Belmont. Shows back up here a few weeks later. This is a short field of 44. I don't love the 1. I'm guessing the rail's not going to be. Horse broke okay. I don't like the 3% numbers, the problem. Even with the high GSR. The 7, working well. It's going to be a sprinter. Cantheros too. Wants the turf. Wants to go long, though. I guess not to. I mean, if this horse is ready to go, he can definitely break his maiden sprinting on the turf, but I don't love that. I think Saez could be tough here on the 6. You got Irad on the 2. Yeah, of course, Tony. You just guys got to keep me on time. I got 17 minutes. The 10. Russell Cash, the trainer. Horse should do fine. The first time it was on the dirt. Now bring him over here on the turf. Ran well here. Big odds. Get it, Keith. The 9. Castellano for Englehart. I think Englehart does well at Toga, and Castellano, though, is just not riding great. Not bad works. The 4 is 7%er. Gaffleon for Rudy Rod. No 2 and 6. Mr. Dutch 2 and 6. The 8. I don't see the 8. Who's riding? Can't sell. Four wants dirt. I don't really see this 4. I think the Scotty picks are good here. I mean, I didn't love the 7. Let's see what happens. We'll come revisit if we have time. All right, leg 2. Claimer on the dirt, bunch of one-time winners. Top GSR here on the 6. Top Scotty pick, the morning line loves. Gets back to dirt. Has been a look at, I mean, just romped there on the dirt in a 42. Almost broke his maiden, was wide on the turf. Brad Cox for Manny Franco. For sure need the 6. How about the Scotty long shot here? Well, let's look at the 8 first. Couldn't really hang in a 62 or a 58. Broke his maiden in a 46. Gaffleon for Danny Gargan. I mean, this horse just like didn't run. That Aqueduct. Nice works. And gave a layoff and came back. It worked here in June at Belmont, and then in July, and then came over to Saratoga here. How about the 2? Scotty long shot. Broke Kermaiden in a 56. This horse is taking a ton of money, but just burning like crazy at Belmont. Zayas. I mean, what do you guys do in a situation like this? I look at this and I'm like, Scotty long shot. Nobody's going to even know what to do with this horse. Isn't going to take money. I don't think you can leave the 2 off here. It's too scary without this algorithm. I mean, unless you're singling. Like this is the situation where this horse is just going to fire. It cuts back. So it's good to see here. So maybe toss this race. Just didn't run here, though. But that's the situation where the 2 would just get super sneaky and sneak up on you. The 10's 20%. Castellano. Been racing. Ran in a 60 here. A 56 sprinting. Tossed the 8 furlong, maybe. Too long. Tossed the turf. 6-1 on the... Yeah, 20%. I think you need the 10. The 1. What about this 4 horse? Speed. I don't see the 4. The 9's topped win percent and second Scotty. Eric, that's your $750. Like, how are you gonna? I think you might have to narrow somewhere. The 9. I think the 9 is, sprinting on dirt for the first time. Has shown speed routing and now cutting back. Yeah, Eric, I don't know how that's too expensive. I think the 9 is, for Irad cutting back here, speed has been facing a lot tougher. Look at that work too. Like, that's like really sneaky. Just, we're just going to drop in this kind of like gallop around the track just for a little maintenance work. Eric, I think you're going to we need to narrow in one of those legs so you can get coverage elsewhere. 2, 6, 9, 10 for me there. How much time I got? 10 minutes for 3 races. All right. Well, here, this is a. So an allowance. System does not like the 5, so I'm going to look at this from a morning line perspective. Who's riding? 11 furlongs, Jose for Albatroni. Let's look at the 6. First, Mia. Stretching out here. I always like to use GSR plus. Horse wants to go long, but maybe too long here. Let's look. Irad's riding the 6. Jose's riding the 5. Horse for sure wants to go long. 7, long, but not sure if she's going to get that long. 2, 3 wants to go long. Noda for Rosario. Brady, oh, you guys. These are, so, these are, Brady, I didn't really know about Orlando Noda, but to get a price, but look at here, Scotty Longshot, 8-1 morning line, 2-1 on the EquinEdge morning line. If you look at this 3 horse, it's never gone this long, but this horse for sure can go long. I mean, I'll even go this is where I would say a small sample size potentially. Because look at the difference, a 50 at 10.5 and a 65, the top number. And Rosario is going to come flying late. So Joelle's going to take this horse and take her back. Here comes Jackie. Like, for sure, I'm guessing he's taking her back and is just going to try to, So who's the speed here? The 5? The 5's the speed. Right? Probably. I think, Eric, so I think it's an AI algorithm. So it's going to continually change. So as the system, as horses race, it is from a breeding perspective. And I don't know the algorithm, so I can't speak to the details or anything. But from a system perspective, it's going to that genetic strengthening. It's going to give a number, and then it's going to continually change based on that breeding in horses that have raced. So I don't know if it takes into account all the horses that are currently racing based off of breeding. I don't really know. But because it's an AI kind of algorithm, it's continually working to refine. So the 5 is dropping huge, right? So has been going long, has shown speed, wired or, kind of romped here in a 52. Then they put in graded stakes, a 70, a 7, way, way too tough, right? So the 5 I can see. The 6, Irad been racing in 72s. The question here is this horse going to want to go long? Horse is going to come off the speed. Who's going to go with the 5? Well, the 7, right? 7 might go with the 5. The problem with the 5, you guys, I wouldn't even put this horse on my ticket for me. I think the morning line does not like this horse at all. 9-2 versus 6-5. I understand this horse has been in graded stakes but is only 14% and is not top Scotty pick. I toss the 5, not even going to put it on. And if I lose, I lose. I think that I would play the 6 and 3 here. The 7, I think Saez is going to send the 7 with the 5, and I think you're going to have a little bit of a pace here at 11 furlongs. Is my perspective. The 2, well, I guess the 2 probably going to be the favorite, maybe. Velasquez for Grand Motion. I think the problem here with the 2 is she going to, 4-year-old filly going to want the distance, which I think you could question on a lot of these, but has just been missing at shorter. So yeah, maybe Eric. I'm not sure. I mean, the 2 is stepping up quite a bit here. I mean, back here raced in a 50 and a 58 and has really struggled to win in the 60s and 62s. I guess the question is, but the system just loves the 2, right? I mean, 43% top Scotty pick. Who's the 1A? Oh, off first-time starter. Mott going 11 furlongs with a first-time starter? Wow. Lowest GSR. The 2 can win. I mean, the problem with I don't even include the 5. I would not spread in this race, I guess. So I only got 4 more minutes. Let me see here. So I think that the system just loves the 2 here. Sources raced all over the country. Look at that. Lightly raced, though. Didn't run on dirt. For sure turf. A 50 and a 58. Going 8.5. Wins off the speed. Goes in 2 graded stakes and just way too tough. And then runs really well. Yeah, I agree, Mike. I mean, the problem that I'm having here is like, with the 2, it's just going to kill the ticket value if the 2 wins. And I mean, am I tossing both the favorites for the 3 and 6 at prices? That's my question. But it's hard to toss the 2 here. I like the 6, though. I think the 6 can really improve here. And I think it's going to get a good trip. I mean, you get Irad for Grand Motion. He has the 2 as well, right? Yeah. With Velasquez riding. I think this Noda horses. I'm gonna probably play this race. I think, Joel, though, I know hasn't been racing great. So yeah, I mean, I can see, I think 2, 3, 6. The problem is where's the single? So, and I'm going to have to run on you guys. The 5 here is Scotty Longshot, top win percent. Luis Saez, 9 furlongs on the dirt in an allowance race. Was on the rail here, ran a really respectable 4th at Churchill, going 7 furlongs. This horse looks to be a sprinter over. Well, look at that, though. Definitely could go long. The 1A. Gaffleon for Bauer ran really well here. What's my note say? Just beat this. There was a 6 in that race. We don't have time to look back. Tough post here on this 1A. You have to use the 5 here, though. Irad for Danny Gargan on the 3. Horse just doesn't want to win, but facing a lot tougher. I'd probably do that. And then, I mean, I won't get a chance to look at this last race with you guys, but just because I got to run to a meeting. But that's a tough sequence. You're going to need coverage in the last. I don't know. That would be, Try to find somewhere to, you'd have to find somewhere to narrow for me in this. I guess if you like the 2 a lot, you could single the 2 here. I probably would look at maybe singling either the 3 or 6. I think Joel's going to win this race. I'd probably, something like that. I could see though, like for me, I don't know where I would single, and I don't think you can single the last race. So, but I think that Joel is really interesting here as a Scotty long shot. And horse has never raced 11 furlongs, is in good form right now. They're dropping here in an allowance race. Has won in a 60 back here. I like the Scotty long shot angle. All right, y'all. I got to go. And I think I have somebody I'm interviewing. But it was a pleasure. I'm glad I got a chance to hang out with you guys for a bit. And I will see you all. Join Action Hour tomorrow. Scotty will be doing a show tomorrow, I know, for Del Mar. He'll probably talk we went over Del Mar. Good luck this afternoon. I'm going to be tuning in. It was a pleasure to get to see all you guys. And I will see you all tomorrow, noon Pacific. Brady and I will have special action hour, no action hour tonight. So I appreciate it. It was good to see all you guys. There's the 5 real quick. Lovely Lucky, if that was Eric, if that's what you're looking at. But it was good to see all of you. I'll see you all soon.